Okay, let's get this going here. Bass player. Bass player's just hanging on a G. Okay, here's this. You know this intro. Repeats. Now, normal chords. G. Here's an F. Here's a C. Back to G. Just garden variety chords. Garden variety chords. Here's an F. Here's a chorus coming. G. It ain't me. D. It ain't me. Now, if I want to sound a bit more rocky, I'll use power chords. Don't panic. They're not bar chords. They're not bar chords. They're power chords. And this is Fortunate Son by CCR. A request from Dave about a week or two ago on Patreon. Thanks for that, Dave, very much. 1, 2. This is power chords now. F, same shape. You're just dragging it around. Again, same thing. G, same shape. Drag it around. And notice it's got that rockier kind of rhythmic sound to it. Here's the chorus. G, it ain't me. D, it ain't me. I ain't no fortunate son. One more. G, it ain't me. It ain't me. So what I'll do, so we don't get too bogged down in the intro. That's an approach I always use, and I should tell you, I am using, I'm sure you know this, the BeatBuddy by Singular Sound. Proudly affiliated, that drum machine, fantastic. And people are going to ask, what pattern are you using? I am using the actual Fortunate Son song, which is in the premium content. If you have a BeatBuddy, you can download that. Just go to their website, you can download the drum pattern. If you don't want to do that, or if you have a BeatBuddy Mini or Mini 2, you could just use the Blues 1 pattern, and you're set to go. It sounds just fine like that. But I'll be using the looper and doing some things. But before we get going, I want to say, instead of focusing right away on the intro, okay, because people get bogged down in that, let's make sure we can play the song first. Let's play the song while you're privately pecking away at the intro on your own. And the song is always more important. All these ornaments, the tricky stuff, it's not super tricky. There's only 2 shapes or 3 shapes in that intro, but so the chords are a lot easier. We get the song under our belt, and then you start working on the trickier parts. So I'll start with the song first, and then midway we'll do the intro. And we'll do a playthrough, as always, a play along, a slower version first, and then a full speed ahead kind of a thing. And we'll also tackle that instrumental section, which is one shape in the middle of the song. One shape, you drag it around, okay? So that'll be fun to do. If you have a playing partner, they would play bass just sitting on a G for those parts. So a lot of fun. Hey, but welcome back. Shane here from Guitar at Work. Glad to have you back. I want to thank you for all your comments, suggestions. Thumbs up mean the world here in YouTube land. And so much fun. This song, 1969, so a blast from the past, but it is still fresh today. It's just amazing. Just fantastic. I love Fogarty, CCR. And I'll send you to, as always, patreon.com/guitaratwork. I've got 2 song sheets here for you, and also a detail sheet that gives you all the fancy stuff, as well as the chord shapes we'll be using. And so go grab those, patreon.com/guitaratwork. Patreon does not have to be a lifelong commitment. You can go, there's a ton of songs I've put up there. You can play along with tons of my videos, and keep the comments coming, questions coming. It's a lot of fun to hear from all of you. That's cool. So I'm going to take it first with garden variety chords. Now you can use, here's a basic G. We all know that. There's a G. There we go. And it's going to go to an F after that. There's an F. If you play your F differently, that's okay. Maybe you're playing a bar chord F. If you're up to that, that's great. Sounds a bit fuller, but hey, for now, straight F is fine. There's a C. We all know that. And it's going to go back to G. That's the verse section. That's all there is to that. In the chorus, it'll go G. It ain't me. To a D. It ain't me. C, I ain't no fortunate, back to G. That's it. Those are your 2 parts. There's a verse and a chorus. During the instrumental section, you just stay on G. It just sits there while the lead guitar takes over. So pretty easy so far. Now I want to draw your attention, if you haven't played power chords before, and I'm on an acoustic guitar. This is clearly an electric guitar song, but I figure most of us are on acoustic, and it works very well on the acoustic. Play it on your electric if you want, but I'm sitting here on the acoustic, and it's just fine. I'm going to play G. Here's a power chord. Here's my 3rd fret on the low E, the 5th fret on the A. Just like that. There's a shape. You're seeing that on your detail sheet, but that's a power chord. Yes, it is. It's 2 notes. And if you're having trouble with that stretch, if your thumb is up high like that, you're doomed. You're absolutely doomed. Things don't stretch properly. So I'm going to bring my wrist down toward the floor. Wrist is down, and you come at the guitar from this way, from that way, instead of like a hockey stick or a baseball bat. So I'm going to bring my thumb down. Oh, all of a sudden I've got good length in my fingers. Now that is a power chord, 2 notes, but I'm going to add an extra note right here, the pinky. I'm going to add him right underneath that ring finger, 5th fret of the D string. And that just gives me a little bit more room here. It sounds a little bit fuller, and I don't have to be careful with my right hand as much. So that shape, universal, that is a power chord. And that is a G because this note right here is G. You name the chord by whatever you're playing with your first finger. So that's a G. And then the whole thing goes down to an F. Look at that. There's an F. Same shape. Just make sure they all came with you. Remember, they are 2 frets apart. Not just the shapes, but the fingers, right? So 1st fret and then 3rd fret for the F. And you'll see a C on your sheet. Power chord C is this guy. That's your C note on the A string, D string, 5th fret, G string, 5th fret. So it's the same shape, but it's got one set of strings toward the floor, okay? Because those are your 2 main sets of strings for power chords. And then we're going to go from that C, we go back to the G. So here's your verse in power chords. G, it ain't me. Sorry, verse. Ba-da-da-da, F, da-da-da-da-da, C. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, back to G. The chorus is just this, G, it ain't me, going to a D. Now it's the only remaining power chord we haven't looked at. Here's a D, 5th fret, it ain't me. Same shape, 5th fret, but it's on the A string, right? So you're that 1 set thinner. It ain't me. Drag it down 2 frets to a C, C. I ain't no fortunate, back to a G. So here's your chorus in real time, G, ba-da-da, D, da-da-da, C, ba-da-da-da-da, G. Good. Now it's perfectly reasonable to stop tape right there. You got to memorize those. Where's my G? There's 4 chords there. They're all the same shape. If you're using power chords, they're all the same shape, and it is more authentic in this song to use power chords. But if you have a friend, if you're jamming with, they could play the basic, your normal chords. That would really brighten things up while you're playing the power chords, and you'd have a perfect match there. That's often done on recordings and live. So 2 different parts, right? So how about this? The rhythm. I'm going to sit on a G, and there is mild variation, but there's really only 2 main patterns to the rhythm of it with your right hand. So I'm sitting on the G power chord, and remember, if you start getting sore or cramping up, there's something wrong. You're pushing too hard. You shouldn't be pushing that hard. A little pull from the left shoulder. Get this, you'd never do this, but here is a power chord G, and I have no thumb, which implies I'm pulling with this guy. So it's not all crush power, right? You shouldn't have to, oh, it's killing me. No, it's all about pulling a little bit with your left shoulder. Here's the rhythm here. I'm going to sit on G. There it is again. Now what is going on there? Now you can play it just straight all the way through until you know that. Just till you get the hang of it. But the rhythm is this. Da, 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 F. C, G. And notice I'm doing something called a palm mute. Poof. So I play 2 in a row and mute. Okay? And then another one, mute, another one, mute. So that is. Now clearly the mute is in the right hand, right? So you're getting da, 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 da. Okay, remember you can play the song without doing this until you know, until you're ready to do this. So it's just a bit of a look ahead, I suppose. Okay, and then that's the first one. If I play it all the way through, G, F, C, back to G. Do it again, G, F, C, back to G. Now clearly, as I was saying, the mute is in the right hand for sure, but notice on the left hand, I'm relaxing the left hand on the quiet, on the stops. First of all, it feels right. It feels like piano keys, da, 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 da. When you let the piano key up, it stops, right? The note stops. So the right hand is just a bit of insurance that it's not going to bleed through. If you add one more little strum in there, it would be this, and they do this the odd time as well. Just before you change. That makes it a little harder because it makes you have to get to that new chord a little quicker, right? So you only have a half a beat to get there. So just wait for that. I just wanted to mention it because people will write and ask about variations, things like that. So those are our, hey, that's it. That's all that's going on. So what I'd recommend here is I'm going to do a slow play along. See if you can get through that. And during the instrumental sections, including the intro, I'm just going to sit on a G power chord, okay? So let's see if we can play it all the way through, 20 beats. So it comes in at 130, what did I say, 133 beats per minute. So I'm going to bring the fabulous BeatBuddy down from 133 to 103, or sorry, 113. So that takes 20 points off of it. And we'll go through it. Let's do, it's a very short song, so let's do the whole thing that way. And I'm going to do it with power chords. Feel free to do it with your garden variety shapes until you're feeling good about those power chords. And then let's talk about the intro and the instrumental section, and then we'll play the whole thing at the end all the way through. So here it comes here. I'm going to get rid of this here. Okay, doink, and a fabulous BeatBuddy. Start them up. I'm going to sit on a G for the intro. 1, 2, 3, 4, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. First verse, G, go. Folks from F, made to wave the flag. Ooh, the red, white, blue. G, when the band plays F, hail to the chief. C, point the cannon at you. G, chorus. G, it ain't me. D, C, ain't no senator's son. G, G again, it ain't me. D, it ain't me. C, I ain't no fortunate. G, 1. Now next verse, G, some folks are born. F, silver spoon in hand. C, Lord, don't they help themselves. G, G again, when a taxman. F comes to the door. C, G, a rummage sale. Chorus number 2, G, D coming. C, I ain't no millionaire's son. G, G again, it ain't me. D, C, and back to G. Now instrumental coming, stay on your G, stay there. G, straight 8 those. Stay there. Last verse coming in, 3, 4, G. Some folks inherit. F, star spangled eyes. C, ooh, they won't war, one of them. Yes, it, G again. When you ask them, F, how much should we give? C, G, page 2 coming, double chorus all the way out. Now G, it ain't me. D, C, I ain't no military. G, son. G again, it ain't me. D, it ain't me. C, I ain't no fortunate one. G again, D, C, and back to G. One more time. We're fading at this point. D, C, back to G. Okay, I'll stop it there. So that was at 20 points, that was 20 beats slower. I'll bring that back up now to 133 for our next play along coming up. You should be able to do that before you venture into the intro stuff we'll talk about right now, and also the instrumental bit. Again, it's a mistake to have all those, to really struggle with these ornaments until you've got the basic song done. Then at least you can jam with people, again, while you're working on the intro and the instrumental section away from that. So there, that is that, and I've got it here in my trusty iPad. And if I always get a lot of questions about the BeatBuddy and stuff, Singular Sound. I'll put the links in the description below, and if you use the promo code GAW, as in Guitar at Work, GAW10, you get 10% off. It helps us support the channel. I highly appreciate it. And I'll be using the AEROS Looper as well. It's a match made in heaven. I am proud to be working with these guys. I've been using the BeatBuddy for years and years, long before I started doing this. So it's a product I've used and enjoyed for many, many years for sure. Highly recommend those. Go grab yourself a BeatBuddy. So here, now the intro. Let's jump on this intro and then we'll do a full-length play along. You're seeing on your detail sheet a 9 and an 8, and you'll get that from patreon.com/guitarwork. Go grab that, the sheet. So you're seeing a 9 and 8. You see the little thing, there's a line going up to it. It says SL. Intro. Slide SL, that means slide. Let's leave the slide out of it for now. The slide is an ornament. People get really bogged down with that. So I'm just going to grab the 9 on the D string. That 9 on the D string. You'll see a number circled over top of that. The number 2 is circled. That's telling you to use your second finger. That is your middle finger on your left hand. Good there. 9 and an 8 on the B string. I'm going to leave them ringing together like that. That is like that. And you play them one at a time. And your first finger's playing that 8 there. That's it. Now the slide is just, I'm going to start from 1 fret below. I already have the shape. I already have the shape ready to go. I'm going to back it up 1 fret, play the first note, and then slide up. Again, again. Comes again. And when you're first trying that, you might overshoot. You might undershoot. If you're pressing too hard, you're going to have too much drag, so you won't get a nice clear note like that. Now, while it's ringing, instead of just sitting there, it kind of sounds like a sine wave. If you don't try to, you try to imitate the human voice a bit, so you get a little bit of vibrato in there, and that's just a tug back and forth. That really brings it to life. The second shape is exactly the same. It's 7 and 6. It's really 2 frets lower, and I'll slide into it from 1 fret below. So far you have this. You got going up to 9, and then down to 7, sliding into the 7. Next bit here is going to be 5 and 5. So that's 5 on the D and 5 on the B. So that's the only other shape. It's important to use these fingerings. They're the most efficient I think you're going to find. There you go. That's it. So it's fingers apart, fingers apart, fingers together, meaning on the same fret. The last shape is this guy here. I'm going to strum the or pick the open D string and then hammer the 5th fret with my ring finger. And finally land down here, 3rd fret of the B. So that is this. It's a quick hammer as I hear it. There we go. That's on your sheet. Grab that. So here's top again. That's 7 and 6. There's 5 and 5. Here's the oddball. There it is there. One more time. 9 and 8. 7 and 6. 5 and 5. And here's your hammer. 5 and 3. The last, there's a bracketed one there. Another guitar comes in and goes, you're singing 6, 3 on the low E, 6, 3. You have time to do it. It's this guy. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Here it is. Right before you run up and repeat it. You could skip that last bit if you're not feeling up to getting there on time, but it is a nice thing to add for sure. So if I do it with the drum machine on, 2, 3, 4. Again. That's it. So that's your intro. And again, if you're not playing that, the bass player, if you have a friend that's playing the lead part and you're playing the rhythm part, just sit on a G or a power chord like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, just to back them up on that. And now the instrumental section is easy compared to that last bit. The instrumental section, which happens after the chorus, is this guy here. It's the last bit on your detail sheet. You're seeing a 7 on the G string and a 6 on the B. Now they're vertically aligned, so you play them at the same time. So you get this. That's the first shape. And you're using your second finger and your first finger. And that guy, here it is again. Drag it down 1 fret. Hit that guy again. All the way down to the 2nd and 1st fret. And then slide that 2 frets. Same shape, same set of strings. So here's the top again. 7 and 6. 6 and 5. Hit them again and slide down to 2 and 1. Slide that 2 and 1 to 4 and 3. Now that's a lot to swallow there. Just make sure you're staring at that sheet. I'm calling them out quickly. You may have to rewind this many times. That would be perfectly reasonable. So here's your instrumental section. 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 2, 3. And here we go. Let's do it again. 3, 4. That's it. So let's get, I'm going to get a G going. I'm just going to dial up an empty song here. get the looper going, the AEROS Looper, singular sound, fantastic, and links are below. I love this looper because it's got that huge graphic interface, and it's very hard to get lost with this looper. You can see where loops are going to connect and everything. I've had loopers in the past that there's no screen, so you lose track of, okay, what beat am I in, what bar am I in, and this one has not happened to me that. On this guy. So I'm going to get, as soon as I press the go on the BeatBuddy, it'll count 4 and then the looper will start recording. I love that, the way they talk to each other. You just plug the BeatBuddy into the looper. It's fantastic. So let's get that going. I'm going to play a G power chord. Just that, just a G power chord, an 8th note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that's in the looper. We'll record it. You can hear that. He's acting as a bass player. So here's my intro. I'll go back to the intro. Again. And that's your intro. Okay, so get that going. And then the instrumental part, I'll count you in. Happens later in the song, but let's practice it. What? And I'm going to slide. I didn't mention that. I'm going to slide into that first one at least. 1, 2, 3, go. And that's all there is to it. Fantastic. Now those are actually very important shapes for you. I'll just turn that off. Those are important shapes for anybody to know. These guys here, and also these. The first set are called sixths. They're very, very important. You'll hear them a lot in country stuff, rock stuff, blues stuff. And also the other ones they're called thirds, so they're very important as well. So they're kind of snippets, or representations of a larger system you may want to investigate. But hey, that's it. Let's do a full-length play along here at real speed, at the top speed, 133. Make sure I'm there. I am 133. I'll put the BeatBuddy on, and during the I guess I'll play the intro, and I'll play the lead in the rhythm part as well, or the instrumental part. And if you're not feeling up to that, which is reasonable, remember, just sit on G. When we get to those points in the song, sit on G. So intro, you'll start out just doing that for the song, and then we're in. And also in the instrumental, just sit on your G, okay? So here it comes from the top. I'll get this going, and I'll tell you when we're starting here. So sit, you're gonna go. There, get that going. I'll come in with an intro in a second. Oh, 1, 2, 3, go. Again, stay on your G. That's it, you're still on G. Here we go. Verse G. Or F, C. The red, white, and blue. G. When the band plays F, hail to the chief. C. Point the cannon at you. Chorus. D. C. I ain't no senator's son. G again. D. C. I ain't no fortunate one. Now the second verse. G. F. C. G. G again. F comes to the door. C. House looks like a rummage sale. G. Now chorus. G again. D. C. I ain't no millionaire's son. G again. D. C. I ain't no fortune's son. Now instrumental. Stay on your G. Stay on G. I'll play the lead. Stay on G. Again. Last verse. G. Go. F. Star-spangled eyes. C. G. Down to war. G again. When you ask him F, how much should we give? C. G. More, more, more. Now chorus. Page 2. I ain't no born sure son. Double chorus. Now G. D. It ain't E. I ain't no fortunate one. And G again. D. That's it. Back to G. G again. D. Now you're gonna start fading out. I'll do it one more time. G again, D, it ain't me, I ain't no, no. There we go. I'll stop it there. That is their full-length play-along, and as I always mention with play-alongs, usually before we start, is the important thing you gain from playing in real time are recovery skills. I know I say it like a broken record here, but recovery skills. You're playing with other people, you miss something, you gotta keep going. You just gotta keep going. I didn't play the right chord in the last chorus. I forgot I was going to a chorus, but I kept going. So you might hear it if you listen back. I think you probably will. But I didn't try to correct it because that would be a rhythmic error too, right? So it's gone. So by the time you get to the next chord, all is forgiven. And so it's important, recovery skills for sure. You have to know how much time has gone by if something bad happens. So this is good, this is good. So hey, a lot of fun as always. Head to patreon.com/guitarwork, grab those sheets and tons of others and play along. Send me questions, and I highly recommend the BeatBuddy drum machine. It's way more fun than a metronome, as you can tell. It's so much fun and way more fun than a metronome. And it is a glorified metronome, but man, you get to play along. It feels like music, right? It feels like music. And I plug that directly into the Aeros Looper. I think looping is one of the most important practice things you can do. It's like having a practice friend right here all the time. You get to be the boss, starting and stopping them. So and together they're amazing. They're perfect. You can have just one of these devices and you're fine as well, and add as you see fit. You don't need them both to start out, but both is nice to have for sure. So grab a BeatBuddy and then grab your looper. You're set to go. I'll take it out of here with just some straight ahead power chords. Enjoy it. We'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for coming back. Bye. 1, 2, 3, 4.